What's up, everyone? My name's PlatinumHowler, coach of your Delta Gligars. Today I am bringing you the semifinals of the NCL. We are taking on Monster and the Atlanta Avians. I don't know what that pause was for. I was thinking very hard what I wanted to say. But we played him in week 1, all the way back in week 1. That was probably a good over 3 months ago. That's how long it's been. And in that game, Rillaboom kind of just ran through my man right here. He just ran through him because he decided not to bring Scizor, which was the best response he had to my Rillaboom. But this time he has Scizor because he's not a dummy. So he doesn't want to lose to Rillaboom again. He has Nidoqueen now. He made a transaction. Originally he had Swampert, and now he has Nidoqueen, and I feel like I knew that he was going to bring Nidoqueen because he had Swampert in that slot last time, and I feel like Nidoqueen has a better matchup against my team than Swampert does, just because it doesn't get absolutely bopped by Rillaboom. It's the main reason why. So yeah, and these 4 Mons are the same as the first time, so he actually decided not to bring his Grimmsnarl this time, which I was surprised by. Personally, I thought that the Grimmsnarl was going to be in the place of Primeape, although he felt it was necessary to bring Primeape because he needed a way to really dent my Porygon 2, which I decided not to bring this time. I actually brought a very similar team from the first time. I had, let's see, which Mon did I not bring the first time? I did not have Jellicent in the first game, and I had Porygon 2 in the Jellicent slot. But this time we brought Jellicent because I thought that it would be a good way to beat a sub-toxic Roost Ice Beam Kyurem, which I thought was what he was going to bring, but even though he brought Specs last time, and just Specs wasn't doing enough damage to Porygon 2, so I thought that's why he would try to switch it up and maybe try to beat my Porygon 2 with a more stally set. So this Jellicent here is Lumberry, so it can cure itself of 1 Toxic and then taunt the Kyurem so that it can't Toxic or Roost, and that all it could do is Ice Beam me. That's what I was thinking. So I thought it would be a really good set. We actually put enough speed on this to outspeed a non-invested Nidoqueen too, so that we could taunt the Nidoqueen. Did I say Nidoking? I don't remember, but we could, if we led with this thing, which we did decide to do, then we could actually taunt the Nidoqueen and prevent it from getting T-Spikes or Rocks up, and we'd be in a good spot from there. But because Primeape is here, I expected Primeape to just lead off, and I'm going to go for a Will-O-Wisp. I can get a burn on anything. I was honestly kind of hoping that Mantine wouldn't come in because I would rather get a Toxic on that thing if possible. Actually, I have Toxic on Drapion. That's what I would get it on. So he brings in Kyurem, and I'm like, okay, yeah, so here comes the sub-toxic bullshit, right? Nope. He's Specs again, and he has Freeze Dry, which it makes complete sense. I was just an idiot and forgot that Kyurem now gets Freeze Dry, so he can lock himself into an ice move and still deal tremendous amount of damage to Jellicent. So I have gained absolutely nothing from this. I don't want to switch anything into a Specs Freeze Dry, and well, I got a burn on Kyurem, so I won't say that I gained absolutely nothing. I brought the Kyurem down to 82%, which is something, but I've lost a Pokemon already. I'm kind of upset. I thought that set was going to be clutch, and then it just was a bad set in the end. So I can bring in Camerupt, now go for a Rock Slide. It would have been super effective on Kyurem, and it's super effective on this Mantine, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter if I don't catch the Mantine on a switch unless Trick Room is up, because he can just roost, lose his flying typing, and then Rock Slide's doing nothing. And he can keep that thing healthy and just go for a Scald against anything, because Jellicent's gone. My Jellicent was Cursed Body anyway, by the way, so that I could potentially prevent, like if I got a Cursed Body on the Subtoxicing Ice Beam Kyurem that wasn't that set at all, then if I ever got Cursed Body to proc, then he would just not be able to do anything against me at all, and he'd be forced to switch out into something. So yeah, I'm not in a very good spot. I will be real here. I'm not in a very good spot because he has just a well-balanced team to be able to take on whatever I can throw at him at this point. So we get a Rillaboom in against the Mantine, so we can U-turn out as he goes into Scizor, but he just switches in Mantine for free every single time against Camerupt. So I get Stealth Rocks up. We see that he has Defog, and I just go for another Rock Slide because I guess I was scouting for Defog, and then I could get Rock Slide damage off, and I know he's going to go for a Roost now, so I bring in Hatterene this time. Hatterene, I need Hatterene to be able to break through the team by getting a Trick Room set up. And right here is where things start to go downhill for my opponent. Some people are just not very good at playing against Hatterene, or like they just don't know what Hatterene does, or they don't take the time to learn what Hatterene does, I guess. I mean, for people, if this is the only league that he's playing in, I don't really know. But if he's never played against Hatterene before, then maybe it just slips your mind that I have Magic Bounce, and you ends up toxicking your own Mantine as I set up a free Trick Room. So now we're in a good spot, actually. All of a sudden, we're in a decent spot where we can break through a portion of his team. He brings in the Scizor as I go for a Psyshock, which is totally fair play. You can now Bullet Punch me. I think you've revealed that your leftovers are not choice banded, so that's a relief. I don't think that you'd be able to kill me with Bullet Punch unless you were choice banded. But I have Babiri Berry anyway, so I should be able to live anything that you go for. And I can click Mystical Fire here. And hopefully this thing goes down. You might remember back in week 10 when I played against Mega Scizor, it hard switched in on Hatterene, and I didn't predict it coming in. I did not predict it coming in. But I went for Mystical Fire, and it dropped because the Scizor felt safe coming in on Hatterene, because apparently Showdown doesn't show Mystical Fire in its common moveset or something. So people who are, I don't even know what to say. People who don't take the time to prep properly, I guess, are just not aware that Scizor isn't safe against Hatterene, because it's going to carry Mystical Fire. The standard-ass Hatterene set carries Mystical Fire on it. Newsflash. So yeah, I guess we'll just chalk that one up to me actually being a hacker and hacking the Showdown movesets to make my opponent's Scizors feel safe in coming in against me, so that they could sack them, and so that Rillaboom could run train through the team again. I guess that one's on me for being a hacker. Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, I had to come out with it since it's now the second time that it happened, so it's not really a coincidence, I guess. Yeah, it was totally my plan from the start. Anyways, now that Scizor is gone, the Nidoqueen comes in. I don't believe that I can OHKO the Nidoqueen, so I switched out into my Camerupt. because I want to be able to set up another trick room with Hatterene potentially later on in the game, and I would set that up against the Mantine. So I switch in my camera up to take the Sludge Wave. I don't actually have Earth Power on this, so I can't. I threaten out the Nidoqueen because he would think that I have Earth Power, but I don't. I actually brought a very Spadef set that could also like be a backup plan against Subtoxic and Kyurem, because I could roar it out after I set up Stealth Rocks so that every time it comes in it takes a lot of damage. So I went into Drapion this time instead of Hatterene because I thought there was a very good chance that he would predict that. And I can go into Drapion, and thankfully I outspeed this. I'm able to knock off its Life Orb so that its Earth Power is not strong enough to kill me. This is a very offensive Nidoqueen because I am a very Spadef Drapion, and that almost killed me even without its Life Orb. So it's a good thing that I outsped because I'm going to bring this thing below 50%, which is great. It puts it in range for Hawlucha late game. And now I can bring in Rillaboom, which should outspeed this thing, or at least threaten it out. I can go for Drum Beating. Drum Beating is going to lower the Kyurem's speed. He no longer has a switch in to Rillaboom, as I've said. So once this thing's speed is lowered, I can freely kick Low Kick to knock it out. We've established that it's Specs. I thought one other thing that the Kyurem might want to do in this game was be a Chople Berry, so that Hawlucha couldn't just come in and kill it and threaten it out with a Jump Kick. But we established early game that it was Specs. So Megazam comes in, Psyshock does over half, but I just click U-turn out, bring in Hawlucha, get my Unburden, knock this thing out with an Acrobatics. This is why I don't believe Primeape was good in this game at all, because it's just Hawlucha food. Like, Grimmsnarl would have been so much better. It could have potentially Thunderwaved my Hawlucha, so then even with my Unburden, I would not outspeed his Megazam. And he also could have got up like a Reflect so that I wasn't doing a ridiculous amount of damage to everything on his team like I am right now. He was kind of tilted, so he didn't bring in the thing that could actually take a hit from Hawlucha until the very end of the game, and then he clicked Defog instead of going for a Scald Burn. But at that point the game was over. He needed to bring it in first and then go for a Scald Burn and hope that something like the Nidoqueen could live a hit. And if it did live a hit and it outsped my Rillaboom, I honestly don't know if he would have outsped my Rillaboom or not. But if it did, then he could have just potentially cleaned up with Sludge Wave. I don't know if he would have killed Hatterene, honestly, because he lost the Life Orb. But he definitely would have killed Camerupt. Actually, I don't even know if he would have killed Camerupt because I was like max specially defensive. But I don't know if Flamethrower would have been enough to knock that thing out. I would expect that it would have been enough. But yeah, so I think I probably would have been able to come away with the win in that game regardless of whether or not he went into Mantine earlier. But he just got on tilt and decided to sack his entire team because he blames it on Showdown for not showing him that Hatterene gets Mystical Fire. So yeah, good game to Monster. We're moving on to the finals, but more importantly, because we made finals, we are automatically promoted to the top division of the NCL for next season, which is what I'm most excited about. So the division we're playing in is called Blitzel, but next season we're going to be playing in the Zebstrika division against generally higher quality players. There are some good players in Blitzel, but there are more good players in Zebstrika. So I'm excited to be in Zebstrika division for next season. And we're also going to be in the finals. There's still one more game left in the season. We're going to see if we can potentially win the Blitzel Championship against Matt and the Green Bay Gallipods. So the teams that we're playing in playoffs are the 6, 8, and 7 seeds respectively, in that order. and we played them in the regular season in weeks 2, 1, and 3, respectively, in that order. Go figure. So, yeah, if you're looking forward to the finals, make sure you leave a like on this video, comment down below, and subscribe to the channel to keep up with all of our Draft League content, and make sure you don't miss the finals upload that will be up next Wednesday. We'll see you then.